All right, guys. So today I'm going to show you one of the biggest things that I do on a regular basis for my clients to help their campaigns stay optimized and profitable so that they're not losing money faster than you could say damn Google ads. So this is actually super important because I see a ton of tutorials out there covering how to set up a Google ads campaign step by step. And while that's crucial, the real juice of it is the day-to-day and week-to-week optimization. So today I'll be walking you through how to do a search term audit. Now, what this does is it basically tells Google what types of search terms you want your ads to be shown for and what type of search terms do you want to block your ads from popping up for. All right, so let's dive into it. So if you haven't already, make sure you're logged into your Google Ads dashboard. Now for this search term audit, you're going to want to be doing it on a daily basis early on. And then real quick, once your campaign gets going, you can move that to a week-to-week basis. And you're going to be doing it more frequently early on, especially for larger campaigns or younger campaigns, because Google needs more information to help its algorithm start to optimize and use its creative magic so that it knows what type of search terms you want your ads to be showing for and what type of search terms it should block your ads from ever popping up for. So if that makes sense, you're basically pacifying Google early on, and then when it could start walking and running and flying on its own, then your daily management can turn into a weekly or even bi-weekly management. So that is frequency. I split this up into two steps. First step is you're basically going to be looking for negative keywords. These are keywords that you want your ads to not show up for when people type them in. So the first thing we want to do is set our filters. So I'll go back into the Google Ads dashboard. You're going to go into Insights and Reports and go to Search Terms. From here, we're going to add a few filters. And the first one is you're going to look for added and excluded. Click on that and you're going to want to set that to none. And the reason why I do none is basically it's going to take out all of the keywords that I haven't already added to the campaign or blocked or excluded. And it's just going to make this a lot quicker. So set that to none. And then we're going to want to start adding search terms to the filter. Think of this as negative keywords that you wouldn't want your ads to show up for. Now, you don't have to do this. You can manually look for these and look for negative keywords. But if you can see here in the last month or so, let's see how many. We have 2,600 to look through, 2,600. So that takes a ton of time. And I'm trying to keep this video pretty short. So I like to use filters. So I have some that I typically use here. So this is for a water heater campaign. And so there's typically going to be some words that our ads may show up for that we want to avoid. So I'm going to copy these, like warranty, dealer, wholesale. These are not search terms that people are typing up when they're looking to hire a plumber. So I'm going to click on this filter section and then scroll to search term. You could also just type it in. I guess not. All right, scroll to search term and then leave it on contains. And I'm just going to paste those values, one value per line. Click on apply. And now we have our list narrowed down to 67. So these are likely keywords that I'm not going to want for this water heater campaign. So I'll quickly go through it. We don't want a boiler maintenance costs. We're not a supply chain. We're not trying to target toilet leaks. And you kind of get the picture. Most of these I'm going to want to take out. So actually select all and then just kind of skim through and look for ones that I may still want to keep. All right, so I don't want our campaign targeting any of those keywords. So what I'm going to do is add them as a negative keyword. So I'm going to apply this to the entire campaign. Now you can do this. Let's say this wasn't a water heater only campaign and we targeted other things like boiler maintenance, then I'd want to make sure that I don't add this negative keyword to that ad group. So you can do this by ad group or you can do it campaign wide. I'm going to do it campaign wide because that's typically how I set up my Google Ads campaigns. It makes the optimization process easy. So I'm going to click on campaign here and scroll down, click on save. Now you'll notice if it's 10 or more words, you can't add it as a negative keyword. So what I like to do is take the gist of this and shorten it. Cool. So now we added negative keywords. So these will never show up when we're running our campaign. And basically you want to rinse and repeat that process. Just kind of think, what types of keywords do you not want to be targeting? So that's that. So we set the filters. Now another way to search for negative keywords is by sorting through the columns here. So let me undo the filter. And now I could look for maybe keywords that are costing a high cost per click that I may not want to target. So I'm going to make sure that this is 500 at a time. We got 2 clicks and it costed $110 for 2 clicks, so $55 a click. Who installs hot water heaters? It's kind of an educational search. I don't want to be paying that much for that, so I'd add that as a negative keyword. And I'll keep on doing that. So basically you're going to rinse and repeat that process and look for keywords you want to avoid. All right, so we sorted columns. One thing I want to touch on before we move on to the next step is adding negative keywords to a negative keyword list. The reason why this is helpful is you can actually use a negative keyword list and apply that to other campaigns you build out in the future, or even other campaigns in the same niche, but with another account or another client that you're doing this for. So to do a negative keyword list, pretty easy. Let's actually pull up a few other negative keywords and I'll give you an example. So let's say I'm going to use these search terms. Water heaters at Costco. I don't want to target, I don't want to pay for those search terms. My client is not Costco, so I don't want to target that at this moment. And then you simply click on negative keyword list. So if you don't have a list already made, you can make a list. You just check mark this box here. And then you could add it to your negative keyword list. But I already have one made, so I am simply going to add it there. Click on save. And where you could see this list is go to search keywords on the left column here. Go to negative search keywords, and then you could see your negative keyword list. Here's a negative keyword list that I have. And really what I could do is apply this one list to any campaigns that I have. If I build a new campaign in the future, I could easily apply this negative keyword list and I won't have to go through this process over and over again. So that is negative keyword list. Let's move on to the next step, which is looking for keywords that we want to be targeting. And we're going to use our search terms report to help us come up with ideas and give us a list of keywords to add. So the first thing we're going to be doing here is setting our filters again. And we're going to set the filters to the same thing. We're going to put the match type to none, but we're going to add some search terms that we know are part of the search term phrases that we want to be targeting. So I'll show you what I mean here. Go back to our Google Ads, click on search terms. I'm going to remove this filter and a few search terms that we want to be targeting. Typically when people are looking for something near me, quote, cost, estimate, labor, how much, and I think that looks good. I'm gonna click on apply. So just like the negative keywords, I'm going to go through each of these and look for ones to add and start targeting. So I typically sort it by conversions, and I know that this made 3 conversions and it's not a keyword. Because we have the added and excluded set to none, it means none of these search terms have been added as keywords or negative keywords. So because it's triggering conversions, but it hasn't been added, I want to make sure I add it. So I'm going to click on that. Solar heater, solar water heater parts near me. We don't want to be targeting that. So that's something that could be a negative keyword. Water heater installation costs at Lowe's. Nope. Boom. 50 gallon. All right. So you'll go through this entire list and rinse and repeat. I'm going to start with these, add them as a keyword. And what I do, and this is super important, add these as exact match keywords, because these are the exact phrases that triggered those conversions. So I'm going to add it as exact match keywords. That means you're going to add these brackets before and after the search term. All right. Then you have an option to change the final URL. So this is water heater installation. I might run it to a water heater installation ad group if we have that. This says water heater installation. I might do the same. So we want congruency between the search term and the final URL that people are going to. And Google likes that because it's going to give a better search experience for the end consumer. So then if all that looks good, you click on save, but I'm not going to do that right now. And there you have it. So now we set our filters, we sorted our columns, and we have more exact match keywords. Now, another way to get more desired keywords is to actually double check your call report editor. And this is to help find any missed exact match keyword opportunities. On the left-hand column here, you go to report editor and look for call details. You'll see a bunch of reports here, but if you have a campaign set up that has your phone number at any part of the campaign, then you'll have access to this report. So click on that report, and then for this metrics search bar, click on keywords or type in keyword, and then you're going to want to click search keyword, and that'll tell you which search keyword led to a phone call. Let me actually sort this by duration. So I'm like, okay, this led to almost a 3-minute phone call. This search keyword that was water heater service near me. So what I'm going to do is actually save that keyword. Let me actually duplicate this page. So I save that keyword, and then I'm going to go back into the search terms report. And you should have a keyword column here. If you don't, click on columns and add the keyword column, which is under attributes. Click on keyword, and that's going to tell you which keyword triggered the search term. I'm going to go back again and use my filters to filter out for that keyword text. So you go to filters, keyword text. I'm going to paste that in, and it's going to pull up all the keywords or all of the search terms that were populated from this keyword here. So we have 572, it's quite a lot. And you could see on January 27th, it triggered a phone call. So we should see some type of conversion for this keyword. And we do, we have a bunch. So I'm going to use my sort columns option, and I could see, okay, tankless water heater installation near me. And because our added and excluded is set to none, we know that it hasn't been added as a keyword. So I'd click on that and add it as a keyword. Again, I'd add it as an exact match keyword, and you get the picture. So that's another way to get keyword opportunities by going through your call report editor. All right. So that's basically what we do to run a search term audit. That's done on a day-to-day basis. It's usually not this daunting where you have thousands of keywords to look through if you're doing it on a day-to-day basis or a week-to-week basis. So it does get easier and easier, um, but not the most exciting thing to do, right? To look through thousands of keywords, but it's one of the most effective things you can do to optimize your Google Ads campaign. Now, if you're doing it in bulk, you could see how time consuming that is. I'm going to show you how to do this for campaigns at a bigger scale. So what we're going to be doing is actually exporting the search terms list as a sheet or a CSV file. So what you're going to do, go back to your search terms, turn off all your filters except for added and excluded, leave that to none. And then you're going to download. I like to use Google Sheets, but you can use an Excel file or a CSV file, but I'm going to use Google Sheets for this example. And then click on download. And once it's done, click on open sheet and you're going to see this. Now I'm going to clean this up a little bit to make it nice on the eyes. I like to use colors, so I think green's a good color. I like to bold the columns there. And you're going to want to add some filters. So this is this filter option here. And then what I'm going to do is actually add a column to the left. And I'm going to insert a checkbox. So it takes like 1 minute to set up your sheet, but it makes it visually appealing. I want to make that checkbox green just because I like green. And so I'm going to double click that. So there's checkboxes here. Then we are going to basically do the same thing we did inside of the search terms report, how we sifted by keywords, we sifted by this, that, and basically do it on the sheet. So because we have this sort and filter option, I could actually clear everything and I could search for everything that says, for example, customer. All right, nothing showed up as customer. Let's say service, select all. Then I could do the same thing, go through each of these, choose the ones that I want as negative keywords or keywords to add, checkbox it. Let's say I want all of these to be added as negative keywords or keywords. Then I just delete everything else. Again, use the sort and filter columns. So I'm going to sort for only the ones that are checkboxed. Cool. Actually, I want to sort for the ones that are not checkbox. Then I'm going to basically highlight all the rows. So the way I did that is Control Shift and the arrow key. So Control Shift arrow key. Not an Excel expert, but yeah, Control Shift arrow key. I'm going to select the column, right click, delete the selected rows, and then click on True. And now I have the list here. And what I'm going to do next is re-upload this into Google. So I'm going to go back into Google, click on keywords, click on search keywords, click on plus, and then upload keywords and upload it here. Now, the reason why these bulk edit options are so convenient for doing this at scale is, let's say, for example, you want to add a bunch of keywords from your search terms report. So let's say I want to add 100 here. If I click on add as keyword, I need to add these brackets manually to make sure that they're an exact match keyword. And then let's say I also want to add them as a phrase match or a broad match keyword. I need to manually add them one by one. But when you do it in bulk with a sheet or through Google Ads Editor, you can actually do it like this. Let's say I had a long list of keywords that I downloaded. 1, 2. So you can actually automatically add the brackets in just with a few simple formulas, and then you could re-upload this rather than manually typing in quotation or bracket one by one, and it'll take you 1,000 years to finish. And if you're curious what formulas I use for this, it's equal, char, parentheses 34, close parentheses, and you know what, I'm not even going to attempt it, but screenshot that's how you do it. And then for the brackets, it's equals, quotation mark, bracket, close quotation mark, yada yada yada. Screenshot that, and yeah, hopefully that helps. But yeah, this is not the most sexy part of auditing and optimizing Google Ads campaigns, but it's definitely effective. So I hope you found a ton of value with this. Thanks for sticking with me here. And if you have any questions, drop it in the comments. Other than that, I'll talk to you soon. Take care.